Chairman and Madam Secretary, it's great to have you with us, and really appreciate the work you're doing and the commitments you're working on as well. I appreciated your statement about when farmers prosper, rural America prospers. I see that in spades in Michigan, and as I'm sure you're aware, Michigan's one of the most agriculturally diverse states. I represent a very active agriculture district in Michigan. My constituents represent a broad range of the issue, from row crops to blueberries to cherries, apples, dairy, livestock. Each of these sectors has their own unique challenges, as you know. But one thing I've heard from all farmers across all types of agriculture is the hurt that the previous administration inflicted on them through extreme increases in the adverse effect wage rate. In fact, I asked your predecessor from the Biden administration about that when he was sitting in that very chair and talked with him about fifth and sixth generation farmers going out of business. And I was very disappointed with his response. It was basically, well, farms have always gone out of business. In Michigan, we're now paying more than $18 an hour for H-2A labor, and that, and not to mention housing, transportation, application costs. And this is unsustainable for our family-owned farms, and it's in urgent need of correction. And I want to compliment you because you've already been talking with Secretary of Labor and working on this. And I also want to thank your staff, because I participated in a phone call with them and Department of Labor staff to discuss this issue. I've introduced legislation, many of our folks here on this committee have co-sponsored it, that would pause the increase in the adverse effect wage rate and freeze it at the 2023 levels, just to give some breathing room, because it's in dire situation. But we do need a longer-term fix, and I believe it needs all hands on deck, team approach, and I believe you're the ideal person to help lead that. And so I guess what I'm asking for is your commitment to work with us on this, and you've already started that process, and we would very much like to be at the table and helping advocate for our farmers. And I also want to personally invite you to Michigan.
I will be there. I'm coming. Listen, this is of utmost priority, coming from the state of Texas and hearing that our citrus farmers down in South Texas spend on average $23 an hour under exactly the outline that you committed, including housing and some other things. And then right across a mile across the border, the country of Mexico, for the exact same labor, is spending $2 an hour, maybe at the most. Our farmers can't survive that. There's no possible way. And so I don't agree, obviously, with my predecessor, Secretary Vilsack. We've got to fight for every single farmer, every single small farmer. We've got to open up access to get new people into farming. We lose our country if we can't support these smaller farmers. And that is, again, top of the list for me. Later today, I have a roundtable with about 20 small farmers from around the country. We're going to be rolling out a policy portfolio just focused on the small farmer. I've got 4 Amish farmers coming from Pennsylvania, farmers coming from Utah. I think I've got a couple from your state. And so this is a very, very important piece of solving for that very significant problem.
Thank you very much. And I want to switch gears and talk a little bit about MAHA. Thank you for your sharing your insights on that. The role that milk and dairy products play in a healthy diet is, to me, indisputable. But in the prior administration, when they finalized a food package with women, infants, and children program, it reduced the eligible dairy allotment that could be purchased by a family each month. And it was even more troubling that they finalized this change, because considering that in the fiscal year 2024 spending agreement, we included a bipartisan directive for them not to do so. Knowing that dairy remains underconsumed and yet is a source of 3 key nutrients of public health concern, are you open to exploring whether this change can be reversed administratively, or if it can't, will you work with us to fix the problem legislatively?
Yes, sir, 100%. And I think an important part of this is dietary guidelines Our Secretary Kennedy and I are working on that together as we speak. We got a 453-page new set of dietary guidelines from the last administration. I won't say that we're starting from scratch because I think a lot of well-intentioned people did a lot of good work on that. But you'll see by the end of this year, hopefully early fall, the new set of dietary guidelines coming out from our two agencies. And I think you will be very, very pleased. It will be very simple. It will speak directly to the American family. It will support our local farmers and producers. And it will ensure that the incredible product of milk is right up there at the top.
Wonderful. Thank you, and I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very